Can you hear the running water behind me? Guess where I am. I'm deep underground in Vietnam's newly discovered cave in the middle of Phong Nha Ke Bang World Heritage Site. This cave was discovered in 2013, but it's only been open to the public this year, so we're very lucky to be one of the first few hundred people inside. Come with me and let's explore with Vietnam Discovery. My name is Evan. I've never done caving before. This summer, I heard about the discovery of some new caves in the central province of Quảng Bình, so I decided to go. Little did I know that caving in Vietnam would be one of my best holidays.
When we first got to Quảng Bình, I was really surprised. It's nice to get out of the hustle and bustle of Hanoi into a smaller city. A lot less traffic, a lot less people. It only took us about an hour to drive from Dong Hoi into the national park with the mountains. Very short time, but a very drastic difference. We're on the Sonne River this morning, getting ready to go. This is the main access point to a lot of activities, which I'm really excited about. So come on, join us, let's get on board.
The Phong Nha area is perhaps the most beautiful part of Vietnam I've seen so far, with stretching limestone cliffs and beautiful rivers running through it. The views that first morning made my trip worthwhile all by themselves.
Now we're inside Phong Nha Cave, and it's really nice. It's really quiet in here. It's really peaceful, just floating through the river, getting to look at all the walls. You don't have to do anything, just sit back and enjoy.
Phong Nha Cave is 7,729 meters long, and it has a 13,969 meter underground river running through it. It was the first cave in the area to be open to the public, and at the time it was the largest known cave in Vietnam. Scientists have surveyed 44.5 kilometers of underground passages in Phong Nha Cave. However, only the first 1.5 kilometers is open to tourists. I have no time to get bored though, because a few kilometers away, I get to enjoy the zip lining. This is new to the local tourism, and it's definitely the coolest way to get to the next cave in this picturesque area.
Oh. It's a lot faster than it looks. The scenery is great, the water's really blue, there's people in kayaks who are going over, it's really exciting. It's really cool. It's definitely worth doing again.
The dark cave offers a great experience. Getting wet, getting dirty, and having a lot of fun. After a full day of activities, I head back to the town to wait for a real cave expedition. Kayaking on the Sonne River, I enjoy little moments of interaction with locals, especially the kids on the crystal blue water of the river running through the village.
They take the river wheat and they use that to feed animals. It's really interesting to see how the life sort of revolves around the river in that area.
Designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2003, the Phong Nha Ke Bang National Park is home to the world's largest cave. But that's just the headliner. There are hundreds of caverns waiting to be explored too. As I want to visit caves which are newly opened in Phong Nha, I choose Hang Nok Nut and Hang Ba caving tours. Welcome to Nok Nut Cave. This is a relatively new cave. It's only been discovered in 2003 and only open for tours this year. So we're one of the first few hundred people inside. Really excited to go check it out. I hope you guys are ready too. Yeah, let's go.
particular cave, a long time ago, used to be...
Limbert is a British cave expert who left his job in England as a biomedical scientist in 2012 to devote his life to exploring the caves of Vietnam. His talk provides me with useful information about the caves.
Blocked, so it doesn't come down here.
Hang Nok Nut boasts beautiful formations and enormous passage. But it's amazing how tall it is in here. On your first walk through, you barely notice until you stop and actually look up at it. And it's just immense in here. My excitement grows listening to Howard Limbert.
These, can you see all these? These have got little larvae on the top, and they catch all the flies and insects.
And they're very similar to a spider's web. You can see it's stuck right onto the glove, and it's got enough tension so that it'll send a vibration up.
In this particular cave we found a white fish. It's quite easy to find white crickets, there's quite a number of them. One of my friends have found a white spider. You've just got to spend a bit of time and just search around, especially on the dry sandy areas.
The forepart of this cave is dry, but moving deeper inside, expeditions will encounter a lake. The water now is about knee height, but it can be up to your chest at times. Where does this water lead to?
That water actually comes from, first, which is more important, it comes from Sonne. And it leads to a research called Madao, which goes into Phong Nha Cave. So it's like a jigsaw. The cave system around here is like a jigsaw. And many different caves join with other caves. And it's very interesting, and this is one of the main caves in this area.
It's a little warm, but...
Late in the afternoon, when I get back into camp, I sit down to have a chat with the local guide and the porters. During my trip, you guys back home don't get to see them much. So now is a good time to introduce them to you.
They are just the jungle men. They went to the jungle looking for rare trees. Sometimes when everyone's hunting for that tree, there's no more trees in the jungle to hunt for anymore. So when they get back home, they're just staying at home, nothing to do. There's no money for their family. So when auxiliaries found, we give them a job, and they're really flexible in the jungle.
Getting ready for bed now in Phong Nha National Park. Very tired from today, so good night. Next, I'll be trekking to and exploring in Hang Va. This is the highlight of the expedition. It's a bit more technical, so ropes and harnesses are required.
On the way to Hang Va, we had a tough walk. It took us about an hour, but it was really rocky and hard. We had to climb over a lot of things.
Okay, so the rest here. Yep, so this is the original path that we found Hang Song Dong exit with, the world's largest cave. And we also found, by chance, Hang Va.
Tell me what it was like when you first found Hang Va Cave.
Not a very good path. It was quite difficult walking up here. This is quite a nice path now because we've had to make it easier to take tourists in. But at first it used to be a little bit dodgy. Like I said, going downhill, please be careful. It's still very, you don't want to fall going downhill.
When we got closer to camp, we had to climb basically vertically up these limestone rocks and then back down the other side. The rocks are really sharp because of the way they're formed. So it was really, you had to be very careful where you were putting your hands, where you were stepping.
Hangba, and as you can see right away, the equipment is showing how useful it is. So using the clips to get down on the rope, and also these shoes is getting quite slick in here as we get lower towards the cave. So it's becoming really important that we have all this equipment. So we're really glad to have it all, of course.
Okay, we're going to get wet. It gets quite small here. Oh, yes, it is a bit chilly. Oh.
When I first got into the cave, I got pretty nervous about it all. I don't really like being in very tight spaces for very long, so I was a little bit nervous about being claustrophobic or spiders and snakes and all the stereotypical things you find in caves. But after about 20-30 minutes in the first cave, walking through, getting sort of used to it, I was much less nervous and much more excited to see the rest.
There's a nice small crack in the roof here. You can see all the water coming in. And slowly, this will turn into a stalactite. As it slowly dissolves away. But this is nice, pure, clear, fresh water. Comes from the surface, so nobody will have touched this. So it's pure, clean water. Very nice, isn't it?
How much stalagmite form?
1 centimetre takes 10,000 years. So if you come back in 10,000 years, that will be there. Right, let's go to the traverse to see the stalagmites.
I guess if you spend enough time in the caves, you start looking at the stalactites and stalagmites. A lot of the bigger round ones look like jellyfish or like beehives. Sort of like when people lay in a field and look at clouds, trying to spot different animals or different objects.
We're just at the end of the rope traverse here, and it's quite a bit scarier than I thought it was going to be. As you can see, the rope got quite a bit of slack. So if you were to fall off, you wouldn't fall all the way down, of course, but it'd be rather uncomfortable. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, actually, but it's worth it when we get to the top, I hope.
Once you got to the top and looking down, it was very rewarding.
There we go. Oh yeah, it looks nice and lit. Oh, wow. These are unusual. These are really rare.
When you first see them, they look just sort of like mud towers, and that would be weird enough. But then when you get close, you realize that the mud is only about that thick, and that it's all hard rock underneath, very hard rock. It's really mysterious. You start thinking, how could these things form, especially if you imagine that whole area filled with water.
So Howard, can you tell me more about these tower cones, as you guys call them?
We call them tower cones. It's just a name that we've come up with. All we know for 100% sure is that they are formed underwater. How they are formed, it is thought, is that when it's full of water, it forms a very, very thin layer of calcite called a calcite raft all over the top. And when a drip comes from the roof, it hits the calcite raft. The raft goes to the bottom, and slowly, slowly, these things are built up. You see them in 1 or 2 parts of the world, but they're only small, and maybe 1 or 2. Here, there's literally hundreds, probably 1,000 of them, and they're very tall, 2 or 3 meters. So this is the end of Hangba. This is the final part of Hangba, completely blocked there. So it's good there's still parts of the world still to be explored. And it's hard to believe that the biggest cave in the world and some of the most beautiful caves in the world have only been discovered in the last few years in central Vietnam.
And so you initially came to Vietnam for research and expeditions?
Just caving. That's my hobby.
Yeah.
I've caved all over the world. And in 1990, I first came and took a team to Vietnam. And it was a good decision to come to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And Vietnam's just got that amazing capability of finding so many new caves. They're beautiful big caves with these incredible formations which are seen nowhere else in the world.
I leave the town of Phong Nha to stop off in the village of Tan Hoa for my next adventure. This is a very peaceful place outside the national park boundaries. Xin chào. This pool behind me is a marker, a memorial of sorts to remind people of severe flooding in 2007. It's really inspiring how people in these areas overcome this adversity every year and continue to live their daily life. Life in the area is changing as people start receiving more travelers who come to see the cave systems nearby. Choose any homestay and you're sure to meet very nice people.
The people in Quảng Bình were really friendly, both in the bigger cities, smaller towns, and even the small ethnic villages. Getting to meet a lot of local people and try local food was a huge bonus.
For the next 2 days, I will trek some 10 kilometers through wild jungles and rivers. In short, I will venture through the mysterious world of 3 different caves: Hung Ton, Hang Kim, and Hang Ken. We're on our way to our next caving expedition in Tu Lan Cave. This is a wet cave as opposed to a dry cave that we did last time. So a little bit more swimming, a little bit more action. The first cave is named the Hung Tong Cave. In this cave, Tuan, my guide, secures me by rope to an anchor point in the limestone to ensure my safety as I descend a 15-meter ladder to reach the bottom level. Oh, it's not bad actually. I was expecting really cold water, so I'm really thankful that it's not too cold.
Well, you can standing up in here. Give me a hand. Nice. Good job, bro. How are you feeling when you swim in the dark cave like this?
Not bad. The water's nice and warm, so it was a good swim.
Are you scared about some like the animal or some big fish come and take you away?
It crossed my mind a couple times, but I didn't feel anything touch my legs, so made it through okay.
Nice. Keep going.
Swam through one cave, going up to our next cave here. This cave was discovered by accident by a tourist who was actually going to the bathroom. So there's always a chance that we could find a new cave. People find new caves in this area every year, so there's always a chance it could be us.
Now in the summertime, so the water level really low. But in the wet season, the water rises up to the ceiling every year. So you can see, look at up that way. You see a block and wood sticking up there. We have 3 tons to swim. So plus 3 tons about 450 meters long.
It was really interesting to sort of swim under the stalactites, and in that cave you were as close to them as you could possibly be. They were right above your head in the water. You had to duck under some of them, use your hands to get around them. So that part was really cool. You got to see them really up close and personal.
Inside Han Kim, some sections got quite tight and treacherous. One false move could end in disaster as I carefully make my way down the jagged rocks. Have you ever seen a stone table like this? It has these beautiful natural-made patterns, and the patterns will keep changing as long as the water keeps dripping from the ceiling like this. Nature really is incredible sometimes. As we emerged from the cave, the sense of discovery was even more palpable than that inside. I now found myself in what seemed like another world.
After the first couple of caves, I started to get really excited about seeing more. Each cave had something really unique and interesting to see. By the end, I was really excited about the caves.
We reach one entrance of the incredible Han Ken cave. Tuan tells me that the current is quite strong here, so we decide to row our boat into the cave. When we enter a big chamber of the cave, in front of us is a colossal column, formed by the meeting of a stalactite and a stalagmite. Here is where the 2011 National Geographic award-winning shot of a limestone column was captured.
Have you ever seen any big column like this before?
No, this thing is enormous. The Google image search will never do it justice. This thing is enormous. It's like the size of a small hotel. Just standing next to it makes you feel really small. And just to think it takes about 10,000 years for every centimeter that these form. So this must be millions and millions of years old. It's amazing.
My last experience in the Tulan cave system is abseiling.
Okay, so keep that hand there all the time. Okay, I'm going to flick this safety off. Okay, you ready?
Okay, so I'm all strapped in, got my safety harness on, our abseil equipment locks me into place when I don't use the gas. I'm gonna make my way down pretty slowly, so safety first, not doing any cliffhanger stunts. It's a little bit nerve-wracking going down backwards, so you can't really see what's coming. Not even halfway down now, but for me, this proves the most challenging aspect of the trip. This is not a time when I want to put a foot in the wrong place. It's harder than I thought. As you can see, the hand squeezing the brake takes a lot of doing. Broke quite a sweat on the way down.
Yeah.
It's really exciting though. Your nerves are pumping. You're coming down backwards, so you're sort of just hanging out over the abyss, so to speak. It's a really cool experience though.
much better than doing it in rock wall. At the end, you come to the cave opening. You sort of climb up the rock at the exit, look down, there's a waterfall, a big pool. You've got this small little valley, and it opens up. When you get to the top, you sort of can't do anything but stop and look around and take a big breath. Yeah, and it was really, really lovely. We got there in the afternoon, so the sun was just hitting everything.